Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome to Sheryl's Network Live, where we bring you tips, ideas, and strategies to take your business to many levels beyond. And today I'm so excited to have in the studio with me Jaunita with Clinical Hypnosis of Las Vegas.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm excited about the holidays, and as you notice, I wore a little sparkly.
Very beautiful, yes.
just to
ready.
Kind of get myself in the mood for it.
And we have this nice contrast going on.
Right?
Yes. So that's awesome. So tell us about your business. Now, I've had the pleasure of having 2 sessions with you, so I can tell them about it as well, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, it's such a wide space, so what would you like for me to start on?
So how long have you been in hypnotherapy?
Since the 80s.
So a few
years. But don't ask me how old I am.
No, I'm not going to ask you that. We don't ever ask that. Don't ask me either.
Okay.
So a few years you've been in. What brought you to that field?
I had a roommate, and you know how roommates, when they get together, they kind of share everything?
Yes.
And so my roommate at the time was being very secretive about where she was going on Tuesday nights. And I thought, that's interesting.
Strange.
So finally I decided to ask her, and she said, oh, well, I'm afraid to tell you because I know you're going to have a reaction. Oh. And I said, oh, well, tell me anyway. Of course I won't have a reaction. When she told me where she was going, I had a big reaction. She was going to this place and learning about hypnosis. Uh-huh. And at that time, I was like, oh, hypnosis, there's no way. You're in a cult, and it's the work of the devil. And I mean, my mind was very, very closed to it during that time. Uh-huh. So I said, okay, I'm going with you. So being the oldest of 10, I've always been like a little protective of my family and, you know, friends.
Sure.
So I went with her, and there was Helen Bauckham. She was the master hypnotist, and she was giving this seminar with Dr. Holt, who was a dentist. Mm-hmm. And he went on first, and he was talking about how you use hypnosis for people who were allergic to the anesthetic.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, I thought, well, okay. And then Helen got up to speak, and I felt very at ease with her. Mm-hmm. There was this spirituality about her, or this calmness about her. And it eased my mind that this was not an occult. And so when we got home, my roommate and I said, well, you know, maybe it's okay, and I just won't bug you about it. Uh-huh. So about 6 months later, my roommate comes to me, and she said, Helen has decided to teach her method of hypnosis, and she doesn't know why, but your name popped up, and she would like to know if you would like to learn this trade, this I said, oh, no, that's very sweet of her, and it's very kind of her. And she said, she won't charge you.
Oh.
And it's still, I said, no, you know, this is sweet, but not for me. So she decided to go ahead and take the training. And one night I was sleeping, and I just woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought about this woman, Helen, and I thought, this must be a sign or something, even though I was very closed about this. It was so strong that I called the next day, and I said, okay, I'm going to go and check it out, but I'm not signing anything, and I don't want to take the training. I want to see her again, because I was attracted to her. Mm-hmm. So when, and she had called 5 women, and so she talked to each one, and she told them how she chose them. And then when she came to me, and she says, Jaunita, I don't even know you. She said, but your name just kept coming over and over in my head, and I had to follow my intuition about this. And I said, well, your name came to me. And so she said, well, why don't you just come to one, see what it's about. So I was with her for the next 30 years.
Wow. That's a great story.
Yeah, so that's how I became involved with hypnosis. Her method, her method.
Is her method quite different?
Well, I don't know all the methods that are out there. The method that I was taught was we don't control anybody. You all do this with your own powerful mind. I'm just a guide. And we don't do any negative program. Like some people come to me and they say, just tell me that I hate cigarettes or that I, and so we were taught you don't put any negativity. We're full of negativity already.
We are.
So her method was everything must be positive. You let them know they're doing it with their own beautiful, powerful mind. You're just a guide.
Yeah.
And she said some hypnotists, they think that it's their voice. Someone would say, listen to my voice. She said it's never the voice. It's a repetition of the word relax. The subconscious is hearing the word over and over and over, and it sends a message, and you relax. It's how we learn basically everything. You know, like if you're going to learn a piano, you do it over and over and over. So you're
like you often say, breathe. Let's breathe now. You often say that. Yes.
Well, I added that into the practice that I have because I'm also what they call a rebirther or a breath coach, and that's another teacher. So I mix them together. Now, the reason why I keep telling my clients to breathe through the session is because the breath is the most powerful thing we do.
Yes.
And when we took that breath at birth, I feel that we said, here I am. Because without taking that breath into the body, you know, the body just didn't do anything.
Wouldn't be here.
Right.
Here I am to the world.
Here I am. And so it's powerful, and what it also does is that breath sends oxygen to the brain, and it helps the blood move through the body. So there's a lot of different aspects to this little slogan that everybody says, now you're nervous, take a breath. But when you really look behind that breath is powerful. And so if I have a client come in, they're having a lot of drama or a lot of trauma, and they're crying, I encourage them to cry, but if they get too into it, then I say take a breath. Because we want people to express, but we also want them to breathe out the trauma out of the body. See, the breath detoxes the cells of the body.
Excellent.
So if they're like, they're crying like that, which is okay, but then in the middle of that, I will say, take a breath and keep crying, or take a breath. We want to be able to move the stress through the body, and your breath is the most powerful and the least expensive way to do it. I mean, we can
very well put.
We can take a lot of sedatives.
Yes, we could. We don't want sedatives.
Right.
We'd rather breathe. That's awesome. Great.
You, yeah.
So then you have all kinds of different issues. Is that the right word? That a person challenges that a person may be dealing with that you can help them with.
Yes, you know, one of my recent favorite stories is I had this young man come in, and he came in for anxiety. I didn't say it to his face, but to me, I called him my little scaredy cat client. And so, you know, it's like you have to really be gentle, and, you know, you try to get to the root of what caused this anxiety. So he had 2 sessions, and then he called me about 2 weeks after that, and he said, can I come in for another session? I said, of course. And he said, because I was down at the concert where all the shooting took place at Mandalay Bay. And in my mind, I thought, oh no, of all the people, my little scaredy cat client to be there, he must have just like, you know.
Yeah.
So when he came in, it was just the opposite.
Really?
He helped this girl who had been shot. And then he helped another girl who was on the phone, and she was like hysterical, trying to talk to her mother in California. And he said, you're in my mind. You came through my mind. I can't remember exactly how he said it. And he said, I looked at this girl, and I said to her, take a breath. He said, take a breath, take a slow breath, and then you can talk to your mother on the phone, because she can't understand you now because you're too hysterical. Mm-hmm. So my little scaredy cat became a hero.
Wow.
And part of it is that he had it in him already, number one. But number two, he had come in for a few sessions to get to what was really in the subconscious that kept triggering off that fear. Mm-hmm. So
that's a great story.
Yeah.
That was a hard time for a lot of people, but so he became a hero through it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
He did.
Awesome. Wow. So you must have just lots of different stories.
I have a lot of stories.
A lot of stories. Yeah. Well, we're going to have you again and again, and so we'll have more and more stories because I know our audience will love those stories. So, all right. Now let us let them know how they could get in touch with you should they want to make an appointment. And now they can come in person, but they can also contact you through phone or Skype or long distance and get a session. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
My number is 702-245-2805. I also work on the weekends. So now the thing about hypnosis is what will happen if you call on the phone. We do want to take a little time to discuss your ideas about hypnosis, and there's no charge,
So it's a little longer session.
What do you mean?
If you have a phone session?
No, the first phone session is a consultation. There is no charge, and that will be where we talk about, what do you need? What are your fears? I always ask what your fears are because I remember my beginnings. Mm-hmm. See, and sometimes people have gone to a stage hypnosis, and because sometimes people will say, "You're not going to make me quack like a duck," or something
they have
like
this
that.
Preconceived idea
that
you're going to rip your clothes off or something.
Yeah. No, I never had that one before. Only you, Cheryl, would think of that. So if you call on the phone, just know that I will spend some time with you, and we can discuss what you want to use hypnosis for. I will answer all your questions, and I feel that my service or my job is to educate people on this technique, and it's very similar to guided meditation. A lot of people will say, I can't be hypnotized, and so if you like guided meditation where you're relaxed and you're letting someone give you some positive suggestions, to me it's like you're going to the same place.
It will work.
Yeah, you're going to the same, what I mean by the same place of consciousness. So hypnosis is the best way to explain it, really simple, is, say, for example, my hand. Let's see, where are we? Where you can see my hand. Okay. My hand, say, is sleep. Right above sleep is what we call the hypnagogic state, or some people call it the alpha state. You have all these different terms for this. When you fall into sleep, you're not in hypnosis anymore. So right before you fall asleep, what happens is you're using more of your mind power. If you notice, you can hear the dog down the street you haven't heard all day because you've been busy with your conscious mind. Or you can hear the dripping of the fall. All of a sudden, it's like this powerful mind of yours comes forth. And so that's right above sleep. We call that hypnosis. Right before you wake up, fully awake, you go through that level of awareness again. So if you think of hypnosis as being a level of awareness where you're using more of your mind, it's a whole different universe than someone's going to put me under and they're going to control my mind and make me do weird things. So
very good.
That's an easy way to explain it.
Explanation. That's awesome. Okay, so All right, so we're going to just wrap this up today, but
Okay.
I really appreciate you being on. This is a lot of great information
Thank
for
you.
people, and they'll be contacting you to set up a time. Now, they will get a special rate if they just say that they saw you on my show, right?
Right. If they say your
So
name
if-
or
so if you say that you saw Juanita on the Cheryl's Network Live show, then you'll get a special rate. And we all love discounts, right? So that's fabulous. And then we're going to have you back with some other topics very
Okay.
soon as well.
Be
So
happy.
you can be ready for that as well, our listeners out there. And so is there any last little thing that you'd like to share with our listeners before we call it a day?
yeah, I would like to say Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday no matter what.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here
Thank you.
with me today. And thank you all for being here as well. And again, this is Cheryl with Cheryl's Network Live, and we'll see you next time.